welcome to the deep dive. Today we're getting into something I think is pretty relatable.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
It's this feeling, where you feel totally confident in one situation, maybe like at work where you have a role.
Okay, yeah. Defined.
Right. But then maybe somewhere less structured, like just chatting with people at the gym, that confidence kind of vanishes.
Yes. The work confidence versus the casual peer confidence gap. I know it well.
Exactly. And we've got our word and quote of the day to help us, explore this a bit.
We do. The word is bumptious. Bumptious.
Bumptious. Okay.
It means offensively noisy or self-assertive. Rudely confident, basically.
Right, like someone who just takes up all the space, conversationally speaking.
Precisely. And the quote, this one's from George Bernard Shaw. The road to ignorance is paved with good editors.
Good editors.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting angle. How does that connect?
Well, let's start with bumptious. You mentioned feeling maybe a bit overwhelmed by people who come across this way.
Yeah, definitely. It's that loud, almost performative confidence. Sometimes it just feels like a bit much.
It can be grating. And, sometimes that really outward bumptious behavior, it can actually be covering up some deep-seated insecurities.
Well, interesting, like a defense mechanism.
Exactly. Like if I'm loud and take charge, maybe you won't notice I'm not quite sure what I'm doing, or maybe you won't challenge me. Psychology suggests it's a way to kind of preempt criticism.
But it probably pushes people away, right? Hinders real connection.
Often, yeah. It doesn't leave much room for, genuine back and forth.
Okay, so how does the Shaw quote fit? The road to ignorance is paved with good editors. How did our source link that?
Well, the source sort of interpreted editors here as those internal checks and balances, the caution, the self-editing we do.
Okay.
So if you're too confident, too bumptious, maybe you override those internal editors. You stop questioning yourself. You pave your own road to ignorance by discarding necessary caution.
Like trying too hard to fit in or act like you know more than you do, even if you're not really qualified for that situation.
Exactly that. You become so focused on projecting this, image of competence that you might ignore warning signs or miss chances to actually learn something. You're not open.
That really clicks with your experience, doesn't it? You feel solid as an employee. There's a structure or protocol. You're in control, more or less.
Totally. In that customer service role, for example, you know the script. You know the boundaries, the expectations. It's contained.
But the gym?
The gym is the opposite. It's free form. There's no script for chatting with the person on the next machine.
Right. And that's where the confidence can dip, because the structure is gone.
It really highlights how much our confidence can lean on those defined social roles or scripts. When they're absent, we can feel a bit adrift.
And you also mentioned wanting the gym to stay, like a neutral, pleasant zone. You don't want to create awkwardness or animosity.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. It's a space I go to de-stress, So the idea of forcing an interaction that might go badly, it feels risky.
So you lean towards letting things happen naturally rather than, say, trying too hard to make conversation.
Exactly. It feels safer, more authentic, maybe. If a conversation happens, great, but I'm not gonna push it just for the sake of interacting. Preserving the peace feels more important sometimes.
Okay, so there's this really interesting tension. You want more confidence in those unstructured places like the gym.
Right.
But you're also put off by that bumptious, over-the-top confidence you see in others, and you're wary of disrupting the vibe by forcing things.
That's the core of it, yeah. How do you find that balance? How do you feel more comfortable without becoming, that person?
And without making the gym feel weird.
Precisely. We've kind of unpacked how that loud confidence might hide insecurity, and how structure or the lack of it really plays a big role in how we feel.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what's a key thought here? Your strategy of not forcing interactions at the gym seems really sensible, actually. It respects the space.
Yeah, it avoids that awkward, forced feeling.
So maybe build on that. Instead of thinking, I need to initiate, maybe shift focus slightly. Just notice the small things.
Small things? Like what?
Well, subtle cues.
Yeah.
Things you might have in common just by being there. Is someone using a piece of equipment in an interesting way? Or, I don't know, maybe they're wearing a T-shirt from a band you like, or a local race you ran.
Ah, okay. Shared context clues.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe a very simple, low-pressure comment related to that specific thing, like, hey, cool shirt, or how do you like that machine? Something relevant and brief.
That feels less like forcing a conversation and more like just acknowledging a shared moment or interest.
Right. It's less about a big social push and more about just opening a tiny door based on something you genuinely notice. It could lead to more or not, but it's low stakes. It's spotting those little opportunities for connection without the pressure.
Spotting the little opportunities. I like that. It feels manageable, less daunting than just be more confident.
Definitely something to mull over. It keeps the pressure off, but still opens up possibilities.